there are so many of these things that were going on in the world that were allowing people to be taken advantage of, shamed, and now we're like left picking up the pieces.
Hi, we're a group of friends. I'm Jonathan.
Annie.
Katie.
We love to talk about all the things we were never allowed to talk about in church. Sex, sexuality, gender, purity culture, racism, equity, just to name a few. This is a podcast for anyone out there who is looking for fresh ways to think about church, faith community, and spirituality. We believe in the power of responsible storytelling and hope to model this in every episode. Welcome to Sunday School Rejects.
Hey. We're back.
You guys, sorry, can you believe that we put out literally 8 podcast episodes out into the universe?
That doesn't feel like a real sentence.
No, it doesn't. Well, theoretically, we're working right now in the process of episode number 9.
Number 9.
Wow.
So by the time this is done, 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Are you sick of us yet?
This one's from Waco, Texas.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
we
one
are
might
in
hit
Waco
different because
today.
the vibes are a little bit
absolutely.
different.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
How are y'all guys like feeling about where we're at?
I mean, I thought that I would be the next Joe Rogan, and so I'm a little disappointed.
Oh my God.
But make it Christian.
You're disappointed that you're not Joe Rogan?
Do not be unequally yoked.
Oh no. We have to quit the podcast now.
Shut it off. Start over.
Gender norms.
Right.
Can that be a what's it called? A sound
Gender norms.
Have a button
That's
for
really
that,
good.
A little
Smash.
button.
Yeah.
I feel good about it though. Like, I've never done anything like that before. I very much had to learn how to hold a microphone.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that would be pretty easy. Holding up a microphone is hard. I'm actively trying to remember how to do it right.
That's
right
the
now.
thorn in your side.
Thorn in my
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
It's probably because you have some sin in your life.
Oh God, I gotta go repent. Good thing we're in a church.
That's
Good
true. Yeah.
thing.
Just go down the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know about y'all, I think we've all been listening to the episodes again as they've come out. I know I have because I've been helping. I've been running.
You're your
the
greatest-
social media.
You're your greatest fan.
Shout out to Katie. That's the gold star we can give Katie. She has run the entire social media game.
Which honestly,
Start to
neither one of
finish.
us could have done.
Nope.
And Katie is so skilled. So thank you,
for
Katie.
doing that.
I'm happy to do it. I really, with social media, partly because, it's not my job. It's been my job in the past as like a career. I just want it to be done well. So it's nice when I see things and I'm like, okay, that looks good. I approve of that. But
Job well done. Job well
thank
done.
you.
Job well done.
Thank you. But I feel like in re-listening to them, I'm remembering certain things that I had forgotten. I'm laughing at my own jokes, obviously.
Listen, me too. I'm not gonna pretend that's not me.
Well, I feel like, Johnny, was it you who said, like, one of my friends said Katie's really funny, and I was like, yeah, and they'd be correct.
She's like, duh.
Oh, trust me, my friends like YouTube way more than they like me. Like, so every comment about the podcast is, oh, I really want to be friends with your friend Annie. She sounds so fun. Katie, oh my gosh. Katie does such a great job in that interview. I'm like, I'm on the podcast too. Hello.
I think
Yeah.
it's the, many white men have come before you in the podcast area.
Joe Rogan.
Exactly.
This is not an
Exactly.
endorsement.
I'm so sorry.
This is not
I'm
an
so
endorsement.
sorry.
Don't look him up. We don't need him. Don't add him to your algorithm. No, well, and, as I said, I think we've mentioned this is the new Christian mingle, and I'm still single. So
Yeah.
men start lining up.
Right. Well, they were waiting for the final episode to drop.
Right.
So when this one goes out.
You have to
Right.
land the plane before.
yeah.
Land the plane and also send Amy Butler that email of how we're going to fix purity culture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We forgot to send that.
Do you think that Matthew Paul Turner has painted a gold star for himself
I
yet?
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Okay, also, relevant news. that I don't think we plan on talking about, but feels like very fitting. The re-release of Testify to Love
Oh, yeah.
has been, at least all over my feed
cute.
and all over the Sunday School Rejects feed, has been so sweet to witness.
I love it feels like the theme that we've talked about through the podcast a little bit of like reclaiming, like the Bible. As you know, I have to talk about the Bible. My
Well, you have
God,
to.
I can't believe it's taken us this long to start talking about the Bible. Actually,
This is a record. Yes.
but of like these texts have sort of been co-opted by certain groups to certain ends with certain agendas, especially when we talk about like white nationalism and purity culture and all of that. But the idea of taking something that has been used for harm and sort of reclaiming it and viewing it through a different lens, not even to assert that there's one that's like perfect interpretation or anything like that, but that is towards, how did Jeremy Williams say, like towards wholeness and justice. I'm butchering that. He said that way better. Go back and listen to that episode. But
There's probably an acronym.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's like towards justice and wholeness. And I just think the more we can reclaim these types of things to that end, I think that's beautiful and wonderful. And I love how they did that.
It's been so. I also just love that song.
It's a bop.
It's such a good song.
Hit it. Just kidding.
We don't have the license.
We don't
for
have the
that.
license. Never mind.
No,
Roll that.
not at all.
But if y'all want to be on the podcast,
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I would be so happy about that.
that would be so cool for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of the feedback I've gotten, I was just telling Katie just a few minutes ago, I was in the robing room at church yesterday.
Hot.
And yes.
Because the robes are polyester.
Yeah.
Right. Hot isn't sweaty. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to really watch out in the summer months, like what you're actually wearing, because I mean, and some people, I don't like to totally disrobe before I put on robe. That seems a little weird, but like I also don't want to wear a lot of layers because
Oh,
can get
sure.
hot.
We
But
don't need to
that's
know
a whole
the
other side
intimate
project.
side of your
Robing
robing.
101. But no, somebody was mentioning, oh yeah, I've been listening to the podcast, and then like there was this back and forth between choir members of like just talking about the podcast and how excited they were. And all I had to do was just stand there and listen. And it was like, oh, this is like really cool. I didn't expect that these Episcopalians, some of them used to be Baptist. So, but which is, hey,
There's
great.
a pipeline.
That's a journey.
That's a pipeline.
Total pipeline.
Baptist to
The Baptist,
yeah.
the Episcopalian pipeline.
They were like, "What you can drink during?"
Yeah. Well, one of them suggested that we have a drunk hymn sing this summer, and I was like, that sounds fun. But yeah, it's been great to listen to people that I just organically they've heard about it. I mean, I haven't really needed to. It's just people will come up to me at church and go, "Hey, I listened to this last week's episode. I loved it." And it's like, oh, that's great. And that it's resonating in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Somebody actually told me that she was having a really, really rough week. And she had time to listen to the podcast. She was binging it and said, it's been a balm to my life this week to have the podcast.
Are we Jesus? Sorry.
Christ to someone. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just thought about the dedication
Yes,
to
that's
the dog.
that's where I got that from. Yeah. Richard Rohr opens his book, The Universal Christ, dedicated to his dog who had since passed, and said, "She was Christ to me." And I think about that all the time, about how things that are not explicitly, in a historically Christian sense, Christ, but that can represent Christ to you in your life.
Wow.
Wow, we went down
That's
a
so
tiny
lovely.
rabbit hole, but yeah.
Well,
It's a reclaiming rabbit
it's a
hole,
reclaiming.
right?
Yeah.
well, and it's an Easter egg for if you listen to that episode or not, and if you remember.
Will there be? Is there an actual test at the end of this? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like a Bible drill, except like go to the exact minute and second that we talked
I
about
love
this in the podcast.
And you get to choose from the toy drawer.
Oh,
You get to
yes.
pick a.
But it's just a bookmark. That's all we have is bookmarks.
No, we have gold stars.
We do have gold stars.
Stars.
But the bookmarks have John 3:17 on them. Yeah.
That's
Finally.
nice. That's a good one.
I am sorry. Can I to the thing that you just
You
said?
keep on going,
I
girl.
want to keep on going. I was shocked at how many people enjoyed the biblical segments.
Yeah.
Like I recognize that is a dorky thing about me, that I love to deep dive the details of the Bible and pick it apart and add context and history and all of those types of things. And I actually was not sure if that would resonate with people, but at least a few people have said that they enjoyed it. So I was very happy to hear that maybe there is a place for my rants.
There is. I mean, I mentioned to Annie and Jonathan that someone stopped me at Pinewood, our favorite coffee.
Please
/
sponsor
pub.
us.
But talking about how they could listen to you nerd out with Dr. Reverend Jeremy
right,
Williams
yeah.
for. I was like, well, maybe there's a.
Katie was like, I'm not the audience, but I'm glad there is an audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Put on the Patreon.
Yeah.
But I mean, even to this point, I had somebody who said, I'm going to start teaching Sunday school differently because of ideas that have come up for me since listening to the podcast. And I had a friend just last week that said, hey, I want to talk to you about a part of the podcast because I'm writing a sermon for my own church and this came up for me. So that to me is super exciting. Like we're impacting how people are teaching and preaching.
We're going to get biblical one last time.
Let's get.
Biblical.
Again,
No one.
no rights. We don't have the rights.
One followed by.
It would really be fun to have that, to get that made. Can your niece do that for us?
Yeah, I could talk to her.
That'd be cool. Okay, wait, but Annie, what do you have
Oh,
for
sorry.
us?
We actually have to talk about the Let's Get Biblical.
Yes,
okay,
please.
Here's my final Let's Get Biblical of the season. And I'm not going to talk about a specific Bible verse. I just want to emphasize one of the reasons that the Let's Get Biblical segment was so important to what we were trying to do with this season. Advocates of purity culture and abstinence-only education use the Bible as a justification for their way of thinking. And what I was hoping to do was to show that the Bible does not have one singular ethic or approach to sex. And generally, there is not one perfect way to interpret any of the biblical texts. We could talk about translation. We can talk at some point we are going to have to talk about translation because it's just such a mammoth of a conversation to talk about that in relation to the Bible. But essentially, we don't have the same information. We don't have the same text that we don't have the original content. We don't actually know everything everything we have is a translation that has been passed. It's a centuries old game of telephone. And so I just really wanted to emphasize there is not one way to interpret the Bible. And if anyone is trying to tell you that there is only one way to interpret the Bible, or that there is exactly one thing that the Bible says in regards to any one topic, they are missing something. And it's actually disrespectful to assert anything else.
That's a big red flag.
Big red flag.
Yeah, and any kind of purity culture curriculum that we've encountered through life as teens, as young adults, as I mentioned, I did read a few books along the way.
A stack.
And
a performative stack.
They pull the same proof text every time, but there is plenty of material from what we would call the accepted canon in the Western world of Christianity, which is 66 books. Well, the Catholics would say more because they have the Apocrypha. Nevertheless, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stories and a lot of examples in the Hebrew Bible and the New Testament that do not align with the narrative of purity culture that they are trying to sell us.
Yeah.
I say they.
Yeah. The
Those in
powers that
power.
be.
Yeah.
The evangelical powers that be.
Yeah.
So it's really problematic. You said translation. I was just reading a book on inerrancy,
Hell yeah.
and the more conservative folks on that never want to talk about translation or canonization. And those are how did we get here? How did we end up with these 66 books? It's really messy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring it to the people who are listening who perhaps did not go to seminary and or are like, so what does this mean for me? Because I think that's often where I am left with conversations like this. And this was a great conversation. I'm tracking, and I think it's good stuff. But in case it is helpful for a TLDR, there's not one correct way to do things. We live in a world of plurality where both things can be true and both things can be wrong. We are truly all doing our best with what we can with what we have. At least that is what I believe. However, if you are experiencing a religion that says that you are wrong for existing the way that you are, I would say that's not true. That's not possible, because you are exactly who you're supposed to be. Now, I'm not talking about people harming other people. I'm talking about like you and your essence and your identity.
At the end of the day, our faith is about something that is very real and tangible, and is beyond any text, right? We talked in a previous episode about trapping Christ in the text. And I just think that at some point you recognize that transcends interpretation and translation, and even goes beyond it. Like, I want the Bible to be a trampoline, not a ceiling. And for so long, the Bible has been a ceiling and like a cage in so many ways. But what if we use it as a starting point for where we go forward? Especially if the Spirit is actually alive and breathing and trying to take us somewhere. It can't just keep trying to take us somewhere in the past. It's not always, the answer is not always backwards. Like, sometimes the answer is us going forward together, even if it's messy, even if it doesn't always make sense. And we have to do that together ultimately, and we have to hold each other accountable. But we don't get there by thinking there's only one way, and that way is in the past. We go forward together.
This is not exactly related, but it did remind. So my cat loves the movie Ratatouille, so I've seen it so many times. Don't ask why she loves it, but she does. But I think at one point in the movie, the main character, Remy, his dad asks, "Where are you going?" And Remy says, "With any hope, with any luck, forward."
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Trampoline, not a ceiling.
Yeah.
She took us to church with that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you were getting at, Katie, but I felt the Spirit.
I loved it. I loved it.
One of the big things that it's really hard when I get serious.
Yeah.
It's hard when Johnny starts giggling.
Me tries to be serious for 1 second, and then Jonathan just starts
It's
giggling.
like when you get serious, you also talk softer, and the problem is you have
nobody can
been
hear
talking
me.
softly this whole
Is this
season.
why no one has ever
Wait a
taken me
second.
seriously?
Wait a second. Is this a power move?
To talk really quiet.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that? Where
Yeah,
like
'cause
people
then you
talk
have to
and then you have to
lean
lean
in.
in.
You come to me. I'm not.
So Annie wants you to lean in, not to be
Everybody
manipulative, but
lean
to
in a non-manipulative way.
yeah, in a sincere way.
Yeah.
And as she says,
As I say.
as you say your words.
Oh, as I say my words as we go along.
Do you have
Okay.
any sayings?
Any sayings? I love to say, "Won't God do it?"
That's true. She was
Won't
looking
God
for
do it?
a chord earlier, and I had one.
But it's usually for the stupidest thing you can think of.
Well,
But won't God do it? Do you know? We've already derailed. Cancel, start over.
Okay.
Okay, no, but the thing that I actually want to say, one of my big takeaways from listening to this whole season is realizing just how massive this topic is. And we could have approached it from any number of angles, right? Like, we could have gotten experts from all kinds of places to come and talk about, the science of it and the broader impacts of this in more niche and specific ways. But I think we were really focused on from a biblical perspective, and also from just very, very casual layperson perspective as well, of how can we talk about this in a way that's actually accessible to a fairly broad audience. Yeah, I think that was just one of my main takeaways, was how big this topic is, how we could probably do 2 or 3 more seasons on this topic from different perspectives and different angles. But yeah, this was the direction we went.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. I was telling Jonathan and Annie before we started, just it's so wild how many webs like come out from purity culture and how it all really does tie together. I had posted about this on my personal like Instagram page, and a friend commented that they've been trying to deconstruct like their faith and that this was something relevant for them. And this is not the same thing, and I want to preface it with this, but for those who've not read Caste by Isabel Wilkerson, she talks about how America has a caste system, and it's very complex, obviously, but she writes in it that race, as we know, is a construct, and the caste is like the bones and the race is like the skin. Like it's something that's very like ingrained into us, and we don't realize. I think the same is true for purity culture. It's like there's something, I don't know, maybe perhaps exactly what the underlying root is. Like, I don't know what the bones are, but I know the skin is likely like purity culture, and like what has flowed out from that has been the like shame, has been sexual abuse in the church, has been people going and being forced to go to conversion therapy, individuals, you know, it's so massive.
When I started thinking about this podcast, I really, you know how many books I read?
You
I
had
had like
huge
a whole
stack.
stack.
Well,
a
I didn't know
whole
if that was
notebook.
performative or not. There was a big stack, folks, but did you read them?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Well, there was a certain point where I had to stop reading because they started to be monotonous. But I thought, oh, well, we're going to start with I Kissed Dating Goodbye. But it's interesting in your conversation with Amy Butler, the book that she started with, that I believe it was her grandmother gave her,
yeah.
was Passion and Purity, which is the precursor to I Kissed Dating Goodbye. But y'all didn't grow up with the I Kissed Dating Goodbye concept. I think you might have known about the book. I feel like early on when we were even thinking about this podcast, I brought it up. And I assumed that you both, but generationally, and then also in terms of what context you grew up in. I have a friend who said, I didn't have that kind of purity culture in my church upbringing just because I didn't go to a lot of church. But in high school, I went to church and started to see it and went, nope, I'm out of here before the purity culture starts to envelop. So each of our perspectives are different, and I've learned how different they were.
Yeah.
But they still have the same core, what Matthew talked about with fear being a really strong part of the religiosity and the spirituality behind purity culture. That fear is, and leads to, then we can start talking about power structures and who has control and who doesn't, and all of these systems.
Absolutely.
So it's been really interesting not only to learn how your experiences are so different than mine, and yet there are some through threads. And then as friends have started telling me about their own experiences too. Even friends that I grew up with, what they remember in the purity culture might be different from what I remember.
Yeah. And what that's making me realize is that actually purity culture is kind of just like the coming to a head of centuries of shame in the church and hierarchy in the church and power structures. Like, I think purity culture was just a very concentrated era of time, and we're still kind of living in the midst of it, where those sorts of practices and ways of thinking were just sort of turned into curriculum. You know what I mean? Like, someone finally put all those words down on paper, and then someone turned it into a VBS curriculum. And then suddenly you have teenagers chanting virginity is cool in a stadium, right? And it all snowballed from there, and then you have abstinence-only education. But all of those things are just a reflection of something that has existed, especially within Christian culture, for a very long time. And a lot of it comes back to what you were saying, Katie, of like shame. Purity culture thrives in darkness. It thrives in the shadows, right? The intensity of shame it creates around sex and bodies is so great, and the stakes are so high if you fail that people are way more likely to hide. And that's when it like really festers. There's just so much more incentive to keep any sort of misconduct quiet, both on the part of like abusers and victims. Purity culture makes it to where it's just more beneficial to not talk about it. And that, to me, is why it is so dangerous, is that it keeps us silent. It keeps power structures doing its thing. It keeps abusers safe. Yeah,
it's so fascinating, which I think also goes back to the conversations that we've had during our Let's Get Biblical talks of how the words over the household codes and how like that was like a political situation. And I think about, while you were talking, Annie, I was thinking about, you know, how purity culture like was formed based on like these ideas, right? A listener wrote in talking about how the AIDS crisis and epidemic like also had a huge role to play in that, and that led to abstinence only, led to purity culture, all these things. I think too, like how political it was. Unfortunately, I hate that the existence of individuals is political, but that got me thinking to the pro-life movement and how that was steeped in racism. Like there were like things going on with like desegregation. I think Jamar Tisby talks about it in his book, The Color of Compromise. And there are so many of these things that were going on in the world that were allowing people to be taken advantage of, shamed, and now we're like left picking up the pieces.
Yeah. And a realization I'm having in this moment is like, maybe the best way to fight purity culture is to bring everything into the light as soon as you can. I know that I'm not trying to put that on victims particularly. Like I know that it's complicated, and that's not what I'm trying to say at all. But like the sooner we can talk about things openly, and that's ideally why we would learn about like sex in our bodies a lot sooner in our lives, so that we would have language around how to talk about what we're experiencing and what we're going through. But that sort of openness and light is what keeps this thing from festering in the darkness and from allowing shame to sort of take over. So I think, yeah.
And even like on a broader scale, celebrating the diversity of our creation and how we are created. I feel like purity culture tries to narrow, well, there is a binary of gender, and so you are either male or female, and if you're female, then you have to exhibit all of these traits, and that's exactly, and not really traits as much as this is how you must live out your life. These are the things you must do. You must raise children. You must be submissive to your husband, because that's the only way that you're going to have any value in this culture, is if you end up marrying a man and bonding and having children. And so all of these, and men, even as a young age, as a boy, you can't play with Barbies, and you can't go and learn ballet. You need to be in sports. And so obviously way more nuanced than, but if you read any of James Dobson's stuff, there's a very strong binary of this is how you relate, and what you're learning as a child then is important as you become an adult. And this is the track, and there's only one track. And that's how it goes. And it's like that really dampens what diversity, and really it just, that's a darkness to me, is God has the divine, however you want to define what entity has created everything that's about you can walk outside right now and see diversity of creation. Why are we trying to hamper diversity within our own kinship and kingdom of personhood?
Well said.
Yeah, I think even this conversation we're having now that you're listening to, we hope these are the conversations that you're having. We know it's a lot to process, especially since it's been ingrained in us since the beginning.
Yeah.
There's a lot to entangle. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to dismantle. So we hope that this has been a safe place for you. We hope that maybe you've had conversations with others about this topic. Maybe you're deconstructing. Maybe you're an individual who didn't realize how widespread this issue was. But like Annie said, like us talking about it is kind of the first step to making something new.
Yeah.
Faithful listeners, as you might remember, at the end of each interview, we ask our guests to provide to themselves a gold star.
I feel like you're trying to be Lady Whistledown and like like Bridgerton.
I'm a little turned on.
Cheers, gentle readers.
And with that, I'm giving my gold star to myself first, right? Am I?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. This is a question because I don't know, Annie. This is not really a question for Annie.
Okay.
Do you use Goodreads or Storygraph now more in tracking your books?
I use both.
Okay.
I obviously prefer Storygraph because it was created by an incredible Black individual, and
I didn't know that.
yes,
Yeah.
and obviously Goodreads is through Amazon, and Billionaire shouldn't exist. So
Yeah.
Yeah, down with the 1%,
Ain't
right?
that
So I use Storygraph now pretty much exclusively, and this week I had my halfway point for the year. I know. So
from that big stack of performative books.
So anyway, I've read 26 books so
Oh
far
my
this year. Yeah.
gosh.
So I hate to brag, but no, I'm giving myself a gold star because I'm very proud of myself. Now I have read some clunkers, as
Sure.
you know, some of them were in that stack, but I've read some really great ones. And one that I read, so I went to a book event a few weeks ago in Dallas at a local bookstore at Terabang. We love it, Terabang in Dallas. So one of my top 3 bookstores in Dallas. I like to read. But Timothy Schrader Rodriguez, and I will say, if you're following any kind of evangelical or progressive liberal in the Instagram space right now, they have probably plugged this book. In fact, our friend Matthew Paul Turner has an event with Timothy this week in Nashville.
Ooh.
Yeah. But Timothy wrote this book, Conversion Therapy Dropout.
Wow.
I started it.
That photo on the cover
It's
is so
cute,
sweet.
right? So sweet. I started the book on a Thursday night and finished it late the next day.
Mhm. I've
It's
done
a
that,
really
yeah.
great read. It's a hard read
Sure.
of someone who's very, very honest about. I mean, he went through some conversion therapy and Access International and such, but it's such an honest book, and someone who is using his own story to help others discover that there is another way possible. And it's not just one way that was steeped very highly in purity culture. So I respect this book so much. I respect him. It's a great light of a book. I'm excited for more people to get this book. If one of you wants to borrow it, I can leave it here, and then you can fight over it. Or
Well, as you have stated, I don't read. So
You don't
I
read?
did not state
No, I'm just kidding, I'm just
that.
kidding.
Oh my God, like Leah Michelle?
No, I am trying to read more. I am not good at it, but I start a lot of books. I just don't finish a lot of them.
This one I think you would fly through.
Okay.
So,
Okay. In that case.
Yeah.
Katie, I'll fight you for it.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
All right.
Well, gold star for Johnny.
That was wonderful.
My summer reading project.
Summer. Me? Okay. This one is kind of, you guys already know about this, but this feels like a good thing to give myself a gold star for. I came out to my mother about a month ago. Yeah.
And let me guess, it was perfect.
It was.
I said, Mom,
It
listen
happened.
to these podcasts,
Yes.
and then I have something to tell you.
I will say, there were lots of reasons I came out. There was not like one singular reason. It just long time coming. Finally had an opportunity. Did it. But we put this podcast out, and there are now sound bits in the world of me talking about my experience of my own queer awakening, my own experience with conversion therapy that we did on this podcast. And there was less of a reason to hide suddenly. There's proof out there. She could find it if she was looking pretty easily. So I decided this is the last person that I haven't been out to. Let's just do it. And so I'm giving myself a gold star for that.
That's a huge gold star.
Huge gold star.
Yeah, give me a big old fat gold star.
And there's a rainbow on it.
And there's a rainbow on it.
Also, you're easy to find on Google now, thanks to Sunday School Rejects.
I love that my findability has increased.
But let's decrease our use on Google if possible because of AI.
Yes, you can turn it off, I think.
I'll explain that to Johnny later after the podcast. He's looking at me really confused.
We have a strong anti-AI bent on this podcast.
No,
He just didn't know about the Google thing.
No, I do genuinely have a strong anti-AI.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, yeah,
We agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying he didn't know about the
Oh,
Google
got it,
thing
got it.
on AI situation. Okay.
Listen, as I've said, my friends applaud me that I have these old Apple devices that somehow still work.
He did
impressed.
ask
I'm
Annie how to keep his screen from turning recently, how to unlock it. So,
My phone still has a button, and I don't care.
Jonathan's so lucky to have us.
It's so true.
Katie, what's your gold star?
I think my gold star is giving myself generosity in healing. So since the podcast, I found out I needed to have a second surgery on my foot because it was fixed, and then my joints decided it wasn't fixed. And so it's been a long journey. And it's really difficult, and I don't like it, especially because I'm someone who loves their independence and I don't like to rely on other people. And I also want to do all the things all the time. So I'm giving myself a gold star for taking the time to heal, reminding myself that healing is work and that rest is work and rest is resistance. And I'm allowed to take all the time that I need so that I can be the best version of myself. And that applies to all things, not just my foot. But it's been really difficult and definitely not what I originally expected. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and it's really hard, and it's really vulnerable. And I'm usually super cool with being vulnerable because for me, that's normally emotions, but this is a physical vulnerability that is harder for me. So gold star for that.
Amen.
Friends, thank you so much for listening to the first ever season of Sunday School Rejects. We hope that this has been a balm. We hope this has been a safe place to land. We hope that this has maybe alerted you to the fact that there are other people out there like you who are having these conversations and care deeply about your well-being and dismantling the systems that harm us. Yeah, thank y'all so much. And what a great trio, am I right?
Wow. I love you guys.
Oh,
We're cute.
We're cute.
when the kids do this.
Yeah, the weird heart thing with your two fingers.
For
your
the
thumb and your
listeners,
pointer.
Johnny, is trying to make a little
Yeah.
heart with his hands.
I'm
It's
trying,
cute.
even though I
He did
have
it.
a button on my phone, I still know what the kids do.
It's good. Oh no,
Not the
now he's
6
doing other
seconds.
things.
And on that note,
All right. Well, until next time.
bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for Sunday School Rejects. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors. You can find more information in our show notes. Please go and follow Good Faith Media on Instagram, on Facebook, and follow the rest of the amazing podcast there. you can reach out to us. Send us feedback and information on how we're doing. Our email is ssr@goodfaithmedia.org, or you can find us on Instagram @Sunday School Rejects. Till next time, practice responsible storytelling and just take care of yourself and take care of each other. Love you all.